Special event going on at the Monroe Airport or this weekend, and it's an event that I'm sure held a lot of times during the summer. So we have a person here that can tell us all about it, and your name is?
Allison Neely.
And you are?
I am on the board of directors for Extra Special People. We are a Watkinsville-based nonprofit that serves children with developmental disabilities. We provide year-round opportunities for the students to engage in activities such as everything from yoga to swim team to physical activities, art, drama, and then in the summer we run 8 weeks of summer camp, and we provide children with disabilities the opportunity to go to camp. And so the money raised here today at Skydive Monroe will help offset the cost of camp to the families.
Well, good. How many jumpers do you expect?
We have 52 jumpers. Each jumper had to raise a minimum of $600 to jump, and they go up with a professional tandem jumper and they receive a video of the event. So we'll raise about $50,000 today.
So you have one airplane that the jumpers use?
Yes, sir, we do. We have Skydive Monroe is gracious enough to let us use their venue and their plane, and we hire professional tandem jumpers to come up. So we have one plane that circulates loads, and so our first load of jumpers is actually in the air right now.
So you have men and women jumping today.
We have men and women and some of our ESP participants. So we have several young adults with developmental disabilities jumping today.
So it's going to be a real fun day.
It is, and it's also a festival that we run from 10 to 6, and we have food, we have a dunking booth, we have music, DJ, bands, we've got lots of activities. We're going to be doing plane rides for $15. Off the other side of the airfield, so there's lots of things for families to do if they come out.
A lot of activity going on here today.
Yes, sir. All day. We'll be here till 6 o'clock tonight.
And the plane is up now. So
it is up now.
The jumpers about to jump.
Jumpers are about to be in the air.
Well, as the jumpers jump, we want you to narrate and tell us what happened.
Okay.
What is happening as they jump from the plane, and by the time they hit the ground. And of course, the cameraman will be filming all of this activity.
Absolutely. My pleasure.
Okay?
My pleasure.
Thank you.
So we now have our first load of jumpers on behalf of Extra Special People coming on down. Now the gentleman landing there is actually one of the videographers. So the videographers go up with the tandem jumpers. They videotape them getting into the plane. They videotape the journey up in the plane. They jump out first and videotape the tandem jumpers coming out of the plane and their free fall. Their free fall is about 60 seconds. Then they go up under canopy, and the canopy ride down lasts about 4 minutes. So the cameraman came out first, and he's down here waiting. So his jumper is most likely still in the air right there. And so as the jumpers come down and they enjoy the canopy ride, you can see the jumper starting to land. This is probably another cameraman coming in because the cameramen come down first. You can kind of see how they land, and then they get ready to film the landing of the jumper that they're assigned to. And then the jumper who raised the money for Extra Special People receives a video of their jump and of their experience. So that looks like another cameraman. We put up 3 jumpers, so there's 1, 2, 3 cameramen. So the next ones on the ground will be the tandem jumpers, who you can see. There's 1, 2, and 3 coming down in the sky. So that is our plane. Bill Scott is the owner of Skydive Monroe. I'd like to give a shout out to Bill. He's incredibly gracious with his time and facilities here and supports ESP. So now the cameramen on the field are setting up their cameras, and you can see them that they're videotaping. So this is our first tandem jumper coming in here. There it is, our first jumper coming down. See how she pulls up her legs? They teach them to do that. And they land. That's all. Our first jumper of 2015. We'll roll for about 10 hours. We'll have our last jumper come down a little after sunset.
Okay. It's a beautiful sight.
It is.
Beautiful colored chutes they use.
Yes, it is.
Beautiful sight. Their chutes are made to wing type.
Yes.
And they can control the chute. Yes, right?
Sir. Yes, sir. There's toggles on either side of the chute. So after we pull the chute, the skydiver can actually control the toggles. And here comes our last jumper. This is our first load. Our first official load has successfully come in. This is the 6th year that we've done this event. It's our 6th annual jump fly. It's grown in size every year. Here we have our tandem jumper, Ed Bishop. He is a regular here at Skydive Monroe, and he has been supporting extra special people for years. And we have Cindy White, who's an ESP parent and advocate, and this is her very first jump. So what'd you think, Cindy?
It was fabulous. It was better than I even dreamed it would be. It was great. Not scared at all.
Some things are just worth jumping for, huh?
Absolutely.
What do you think about all this, Ed?
I think it's amazing.
Yeah,
this is why I do it.
That's exactly right. So anyway, successful first load on the ground. So thanks, guys.
Woohoo!
I would like to introduce Suzanne Dooley, and Suzanne is not only an ESP parent, but she chairs this event, the entire thing. So Suzanne, tell us what's going on here today.
Oh my gosh, what's not going on here today? We have got over 40 people skydiving. We have got DJs and bands playing all day long, bounce house, horseback riding, airplane rides, food, and more food. So just lots of activities, arts and crafts for the kids. It's just going to be a fabulous day.
Tell us about Matthew and how this came to be for you.
Well, when Matthew was 17 years old, he said all he wanted for his birthday was to go skydiving. So we researched it, and he had to be 18 years old to skydive. So of course, 1 year later, when I thought or prayed that he had forgotten what his wish was, he reminded me he wanted to go skydiving. So he went skydiving for the first time 3 years ago for extra special people, and he has been skydiving 9 times since. He has loved it. So
and 2 years ago, we did 3 generations of Dooleys. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, we did. Matthew kind of roped his dad and his grandfather into jumping. Neither of them wanted to, but he kind of played them against each other. My husband said he definitely didn't want to do it, but he couldn't let his 80-year-old father and his handicapped son jump without him jumping. So he was really roped into it. But it was a great year that year, having all 3 of them jump.
And how much money do we anticipate raising?
Oh my gosh. We're going to raise $50,000, but it sure would be nice if somebody just handed us an extra 10 on top of that.
All to send kids to camp starting on Monday.
Starting on Monday.
Well, is Coach Dooley and your husband here today?
My husband is here. Coach Dooley is out of town at a wedding.
Oh, is he?
He is. Nick Saban's child is getting married today.
Telling her about, I was here today that he made his jump, first jump, and he jumped double with Bill.
That's right. I think that was about 24 years ago.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah.
Now Matthew is here.
Matthew is
here. We could interview Matthew. I'm sure he would be up for that.
You better watch out. Matthew's a salesperson, so he might talk you into skydiving today and talk you in as well.
We have a star of the show. This is Mr. Matthew Dooley, and Mr. Matthew Dooley is a skydiver. He started skydiving 3 years ago, and he has been hard-pressed ever since. So Matthew, what made you jump out of an airplane the very first year?
Well, I always wanted to jump out of an airplane, and at the age of 17, I was like, you know what I want to do? I want to go on skydiving. So my parents called a skydiving with, I think it was this place, Skydive Monroe, and they said I have to be 18 in order to do it. So my mom was like, you know, maybe I'll forget about skydiving by the time you turn 18. Well, the second I turned 18, I'm like, Mom, you know what I want to go do? I was like, I want to go skydiving. And it just happened. It was a coincidence that ESP was doing jump fly a week later.
That's right.
So my mom was like, okay, you can do it for ESP. I'm like, Mom, I want to do it now. And it's like, well, you can wait. But I'm so glad I did. ESP and Jump Fly is such a great organization. And they need all the help and support they can. So.
That's right. And we understand you convinced your grandfather, Vince Dooley, to jump. How did you manage that?
Well, I played, it was kind of funny because I played my dad and my grandfather against each other. So I was like, I said, Dad, will you go skydiving with me? He's like, only if your grandfather goes with us. So immediately I called my grandfather. I said, my dad, I want you to skydive. And he said, I don't only skydive if your dad does. I was like, perfect.
So you tricked your father and your grandfather into jumping with you.
Exactly.
So we had 3 generations of dualies jumping out of an airplane to raise money for extra special people. That's pretty fantastic.
Well, how many jumps has Matthew made?
I've made 9 jumps.
9
jumps.
Really?
And what do you like? What do you like about skydiving, Matthew?
The free fall.
Free fall.
Because you're falling at a rate of 180 miles an hour.
Yep.
I just think that's a great feeling to have. The first time I did it, I felt like my disability melted away.
That's right. 180 miles an hour will make lots of things melt away, right?
Oh, yeah.
Well, thank you, Matthew. Anything else you want to say to these great people listening?
Just support ESP to the fullest.
That's right.
Matthew, may I ask you one question? How does it feel when you first jump out the airplane and you start descending?
It just feels like you're floating in the air. You really don't have the sensation of falling. You just feel like you're just floating in the air.
It's a free fall. Well, thank you, Matthew, for your time. You're a hero.